when a man wants to go 50-50 with you on a date, do this. Oh my god. I'm so embarrassed right now. Wait, you wanted to just be friends? I'm so confused. This whole entire time I thought this was a date. Oh my god. Okay, I'm so sorry. Here's my card.
Alright y'all, what is up? Welcome back, and I have a question for the gentleman of the channel here. So have you ever been on a date with a woman and gone 50-50 on the check? And if so, has she ever done something like this? I feel like we all have dating horror stories to share, myself included, and so if you have one, I'd love to hear about them as we embark on, honestly, a debate of the ages. I feel like this happens more often than we think, and I personally don't see the issue with this, and I genuinely don't understand how in the year 2023, society has honestly regressed by deeming this an issue. But apparently, this TikToker here, let's side note here, if there's anyone you should ever take dating advice from, it's TikTok, but who's amassed over 1.2 million likes on this viral TikTok, sees an issue with it. So let's jump into her wild take here. I'm sure it'll be very educational, but before we do, if you're new around here and haven't subscribed to the channel for some reason, honestly, you're bugging off perks or something, because we break down crazy developments like this all the time, and I'd love to have you. But with that out of the way, let's dive into the lunacy. So we saw the TikTok, but now we're going to take a deeper dive into an article from the New York Post. The article title in question is, "I use this hack to shame cheap men who want to split the bill. Guys say it's manipulative." So hopping right into it, so the woman blatantly admits that she's shaming the guy, right? And then whoever wrote this article clearly seems to agree with TikTok girl here, as you'll quickly realize when we read the rest of the article. But man, I hate this, I'm a shame all men era we are currently having to endure, right? Like, even if this is something you don't agree with, I'm gonna be honest, that's fine. I'm not gonna hate on you for adhering to typical gender norms. Me, as a man, I do tend to align myself with that kind of ideology, but in just a slightly different way, right? Like, there's no problem with having a differing opinion. What's not okay is shaming the dude in the restaurant for his views on the situation. And look, I know people are gonna come to her defense and say, "Oh, it's a TikTok, bro. She didn't actually shame anyone." And look, all I'm saying is, if she's a supposed, dating advice expert, I use that pretty loosely here, she's a TikToker, but she's practicing what she's preaching. There is no reason for me to believe that's not the case. Like honestly, if anything, if you really feel the need to shame this dude, put him in his place, shame him in private, hit him with the classic, your vibes were off at Applebee's, you shoot him a text, over text, one-on-one. No need to embarrass him in front of other restaurant goers. I honestly think this is why my generation is afraid to ask women out, because unfortunately, rejection has truly evolved to something much worse, I'm afraid.
I'm so fucking scared right now, you shut up!
The article continues, "When a man wants to go 50-50 with you on a date, do this." Began going out guru Pearl Bots, an aspiring singer from Los Angeles, and a trending TikTok how-to advising all the single ladies on best practices for politely jabbing a prospective partner who expects them to pay. "Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed right now," said the millennial, feigning shock as if she'd just been asked to go Dutch treat in the clip, which has stockpiled over 7.1 million views. So yeah, man, like I said, this article clearly agrees with the TikToker here, politely jabbing, again, nothing screams polite like embarrassing the guy in front of a ton of other people. Again, what's wrong with just handling your business in private? If you think that was so offensive, God forbid you have to pay for your own dinner as a TikToker who's pulling in 7.1 million views. Like, come on, man. The entitlement here is just ridiculous, and I really think that's what it boils down to here. These people that are like, "Oh, the man is supposed to pay," they're the same people that are all about, equal rights until it doesn't benefit them. The second they have to start emptying their wallet to pay for their own meal, that's when suddenly, oh, I don't want this equality anymore. And let me put this on the record too. This is all coming from the guy that pays for his date's dinner. And the reason I do that is because just about every time I go on a date, I ask the girl to come with me, right? And so my philosophy on it is, if you ask the girl, you pay, right? And then vice versa. If she were to ask me, I feel like she would pay, right? Or at the very least, I would pay my own way, right? Like, that's just my personal opinion on it. Because I know people are going to come at me and be like, oh, you're just hating on this girl, you incel fuck. And I want to make it very clear, I pay for my date. But at the same time, I never condone that sense of entitlement. That sense of entitlement, that kind of mentality, it honestly irks me. I hate it. It's very, very unattractive to me. And as I'm sure you could probably guess, the ass queens came to her defense, saying things like, please people, do this. Genius. No more scrubs. Cheered another impressed fan, blah, blah, blah. You can't pay for the first date. Yeah, we're friends, added an equally perturbed Belle. Nothing to do with money. It's about the effort and the investment in me. So 2 things I want to talk about here. First and foremost, no more scrubs. I think the real scrub-like behavior here, and this goes for both genders here. I'm not, I don't want this to just solely be an opposing gender hit piece here, like this New York Post article clearly is doing here. I just think that regardless of your gender, if you can't pay for a $20 entree if it comes down to it, I think that's the real scrub-like behavior, if you want my honest opinion. And second of all, nothing to do with money. It's about the effort and the investment in me. So as a man, I can say this, we as a male species, unfortunately, we put women on this really, really high pedestal. No, I don't feel like women esteem men nearly as high as men esteem women, right? And this just goes again back to that whole entitlement mentality here. Nothing to do with money. It's about the effort and the investment in me. Yeah, because this guy that you just met, you're complete strangers at this point. This stranger just absolutely owes you the world, right? Like, the investment in me, that the arrogance, the narcissism here is absolutely insane to me. But the fellas retaliated here. They bended but never broke, so to speak. The article goes on to say, but unbending men sorely disagreed. This is manipulation and gaslighting 101, wrote a finger-wagging guy. Quote, I presume you are putting out after, said another, suggesting that the only way he'd cover the full cost of dinner and drinks is with the promise of guaranteed sex. And I think this is a great illustration of the double standard that exists here. So on one hand, you've got these women that are demanding that these guys pay for them on the first date, or just, it sounds like this TikToker agrees that this goes for all dates in general. And, if they don't adhere to that, unspoken rule, suddenly they're tossed into the friend zone. You're in the friend zone now, bro, or, stuff like that. But on the other hand, guys out here are saying, oh, so if I'm paying, I get, guaranteed sex, right? And you can just imagine the outrage here, you don't have to think too hard, your imagination can connect the dots here. What women would be saying about that if someone were to say that, right? They'd be being called the disgusting pig, you sick bastard, all of that. And I don't inherently agree with that. I don't think that you should go out with a woman solely for the purpose of getting laid. I really don't, because I just kind of feel like that's a waste of both parties' time. I mean, unless that's what you're looking for. I just feel like these same women that are just like, oh yeah, put them in the friend zone, blah blah blah, when the double standard is spun the opposite way for us fellas out there who are hoping to get some ass, they're not gonna share that same sentiment, right? And so I feel like it really is a two-way street here. But yeah, guys, that's basically the video. I appreciate y'all watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like rating, subscribe to the channel for more commentaries just like this. And I would love to hear some of your guys' thoughts on this. The men and the women, I'm sure, are about to go to war here, so buckle up for that. And yeah, I look forward to reading all the replies. But thanks again for watching, guys, and this is Runter. We'll catch you on the next one. Later.